welcome back to Devils United. Today we'll be doing...
That's timing, isn't it? What we were meant to be doing, and I honestly, we ain't got that much special effects, is we're meant to be doing a Leicester preview, and obviously probably touch a bit on the Brighton game that's just gone as well. And obviously feel free to see the face that's happening. And here you go.
I'm back. Oh my God. Not a good start to the show, of course, but I'm sure we've introduced ourselves already. Chloe, Andy, how are we both?
Can't speak that quickly. I just said what we were doing, but yeah, you know what we look like. Anyway, go on. I'm fine.
How are you, Chloe?
Yeah, I'm good. Good. Glad to be back.
I just want to say hello to people who's in the chat. Good evening, Vincent. Hope you well. Good evening, Henry. I hope you are well. Hey there to Ravi. I hope that you are well. Hello to Reese. Hope you are well. Thank you as well for the lovely words. Maisy frozen like Iceland, you funny people. So let's go on to the game. We'll start with, of course, the game from yesterday. Four goals at home. And that was against Brighton. First goal for Adriana Leon. Very intense first half. Again from Manchester United, kept that tempo very well. Chloe, what did you think of the game?
I thought it was a very good game. I thought in the first half we played extremely well, and we were very upbeat. The tempo was quick and fast. We had the passion was there straight off the kickoff, and I think we just showed really good pace, and we all gelled together in the team. So the first half was good, and then in the second half we just ended up, there was no pace. It was like, yeah, we're 3-0 up. What's the worst they can do? Score. That's what it felt like. There was just no more passion and stuff. And I think we ended up losing that passion through Hannah Blundell going off in straight away in that at half time. Because at the end of the day, she's our fullback, whereas Leah will cover, and I'm glad Leah will, because we need it. We've not got many fullbacks, and I think back when we were doing the transfer podcasts, we were saying, weren't we, that we need fullbacks. We do need the fullbacks, because we're playing Maya Letitia as a centre back. She played for Brighton as a fullback, so we've lost that position for Maya. And maybe if Mannion does come back, Maya will be that player that will be that backup for the fullback. But at the minute, I can't see it being, because of the way she's playing. She's playing week in, week out at centre back with Millie Turner doing extremely well. So for me, in the January transfer window, we're going to need to have a look at fullbacks. We need a Hannah Blundell we need a Hannah Blundell replacement, and we need an Honor replacement, because we can't always rely on Leah, because she is our quick player on the wing. And I think instead of bringing on Hannah Blundell, instead of bringing on Martha Thomas for Hannah, I think really they should have brought on Leon a bit earlier from the start, and then brought on Martha. But yeah, like you said, Leon played extremely well. Glad she got her first goal for United, and it's just good to see that she's got that spirit after the international games. And same with Ella Toon, for scoring them 2 goals, and we were all hoping she would get a hat-trick, because she definitely deserved it. But yeah, she's definitely improved since the international break, and hopefully same with Leah scoring again, and hopefully that shows that she's improving and she's back to her best. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting game, because actually I thought normally it's me that's the most negative, and there's interesting points you made that I agree with a lot of them. I think that it's hard to pull apart a 4-0 win, and we did very well, but I think Martha Thomas had a poor game. It was masked by the fact we won 4-0. But she, this is the issue, I suppose, when we have not got Russo normally, obviously nailed on as our sort of striker, is that the timings between anybody else, between Martha Thomas and and Leon just isn't there. There's a couple of times where they just didn't read each other's runs and that kind of stuff. I mean, the positives initially on the game is that, we were very dominant in the game, and we didn't really look like we were going to lose the game at any point, including when it first started. And it was just more a matter of just turning that dial up, boiling that frog, trying to push on goal difference. And all right, we scored 3 in the first half, only 1 in the second half. But last season, we would have scored 3 in the first half and let 2 in the second half, and we still would have won. We would have talked about it being a win in the positives. So we are getting there. I think a few things that jump out at me. Obviously, great to see Tooney score twice. Mm-hmm. She's used a lot of her energy up with England, and it was good to see her really open her account properly. I saw her open her account. I don't know if she scored all right. She scored this season. I'm not sure she scored this season for United this season so far. Tooney previously.
No, that was the first 2 goals of the season. She hasn't scored beforehand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was a good thing. Leah Galton scoring, always a good thing. She's very much a definition of a confidence player. So for her to get a goal,
best winger,
the time that she's got. Garcia was on fire. She stuck out massively as a fantastic player. Hope Powell's quite a good tactician, hence why Brighton are a funny team, because Brighton are either very bad or very good. There's not really anywhere in between with them. And luckily we got for United, we obviously got them in the more of a bad yesterday. I think obviously concern about Honor having a concussion. I'm sure it was a concussion, but that was the only way we could get a sub, and she sat down to get pulled off. So whether or not it actually is a concussion, wink, wink, or whether or not it was a way for us to actually get somebody on. I'm sure she got hit by the head, but you can have a sore head and not have a medical grade concussion. So hopefully it's just a slight knock.
I think that the thing is, especially now when it does come to the head, now you've got to be the football has taken it a whole lot more seriously compared to what they used to 2 seasons ago. And even if it's a slight knock, they'll do it as a concussion.
Oh, no, I don't think it's a bad idea. I just mean that the only way we could have had that extra skill,
because we used all 5, didn't we?
And as well, Mark did. I don't know if I shared it with you before yesterday, but Mark did do an interview, and he did actually say that she was showing signs of concussion on her, so she had to be taken off. She had to be.
It was the right decision to be taken off. I just wasn't sure if it was an official concussion. I mean, that's fine. I mean, obviously a bit of a concern because you do have the obvious banana skin, which is Leicester, who are terrible. And obviously, we're going to get into the preview on that shortly, and I have a few views on the way they run their football club, which I'm sure people might want to know. But yeah, it was a good game. Ref was all right as well, and I always like to touch on the ref. But to be honest, the bar's so low in the WSL, you can look okay if you can tie your shoelaces. If I'm honest, but she didn't have a bad game. But again, she let a lot go, a lot of stuff that hit us. Like there was that point, wasn't there? There was one point where we actually said, I shouted out that rugby league was next week because Ella Toon basically got hugged and then tackled down, and nothing happened. And then the next tackle, Zelly got a yellow card, didn't she? But yeah, overall, it was a really good game. It's just weird because we've never really had such an easy run-in. So easy opening to the season before. I remember when we first started WSL, we played a lot of top 4, and we don't actually play anybody in the top 4 till November technically. So we've got a really good chance, and so far we're actually doing it.
100%. Just want to say thank you so much, Liam, for the super chat for the €2. It really means a lot, and that's gonna go to breast cancer now. Hey there, Vaughn. Hope you're well. I have watched a video. It was a great video. It was Casey Stoney's tactics at Manchester United. I'll also send it to you, Randy and Chloe, so you can both see it together as well. I'll also answer your question nearer to the end, rather, because I know you've got a couple of questions in the chat. Hey there as well to my dad. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming into the chat. So I'll answer the questions a bit more later into the show. But talking about Leicester, because after Leicester, we've got a cup game. We've got our faves. Got Durham. We've got Everton. And then we've got the two big ones there of Chelsea and Arsenal. Even though this is a league game for you, Andy, do you expect some kind of rotation coming into this game?
Yeah, I mean, you got to. I mean, it's an awkward one because it is away from home. It's a potential banana skin because of the fact that everyone expects us to win and win handsomely. I think about the fact that was it Arsenal lost 1-0 against Birmingham last season, who ended up going down. So it is possible to happen. You can make stupid mistakes. Chelsea lost this season against Liverpool, first game of the season. But I think, well, it's difficult really because it just depends on what Skinner's view on the Conti Cup is. And as I said, we'll go more into that probably next pod when we do a sort of preview on that and Everton. But like, we're 3 from 3 in the league. We are top of the league, but we also drew a game that we should have won against Villa. So he might not do rotation now, and then we might be dodgy for Durham because, but then Durham normally are top of the championship, and now they're sort of actually 7th out of the championship, so they're not very good this year. So he's either going to rotate. He's either going to rotate now, or he's going to rotate even more against Durham. I think maybe if Honor's going to be a doubt, just for the 7-day concussion business, if it is a concussion, obviously. Then you're going to have to rotate. Who you're going to play is going to be an interesting question. Also, that knock that Hannah had in the warm-up yesterday, is that going to be all right for next week? There's a few considerations there, and that would vastly affect what team that you pick. I like the fact we're scoring. Hopefully, Russo will be back for Leicester. And if
I've heard she's out for 3 weeks.
She's back for Everton.
For Everton. Yeah, in which case, I mean, he's going to probably do the same again in attack. Then Martha Thomas and, I think maybe it's just timing, striker role, the more opportunities you get. Maybe if she has another game, she'll do better. But as Chloe said, you could play with Leon a little bit as well. She looked very strong. The big concern is going to be the game after that because of the physicality of Durham. So it's always a difficult one for 3 games in a week. So I'd be interested to see what happens.
Definitely. Chloe, if you was to say that Skinner was going to do rotations for Leicester, where do you think he would rotate? I think
the obvious rotation is going to be potentially in defence. I can see that if Honor's not fit enough to do a concussion due to the concussion, and Hannah's obviously she picked up a knock during pre warm up, you've got that dilemma of who goes at left back, who goes at right back. You go Leah, you're going in left back. Maya, you're going back and right back. We bring either Tunkaru or Maria Torres-Dottir back in centre back. That's the only way that you're potentially going to see a change, because we know we were saying before that Leslie's not going to be back until at least Everton, and that's an if, because we've got to think that we play Leicester, Durham, Everton, Chelsea, then Arsenal, and
then we've got Villa
break,
and we got Villa then at the end. Old Trafford.
Yeah, but before that, after Arsenal, it is international break as well, which is another thing that is going to be a dilemma of who goes and who we worry about. So we've got to try and keep as many players fit enough to be able to go all the way through, plus do international break, and then go again to Christmas, because it's going to be a jam-packed. It's going to be jam-packed now, and it's going to be one of them that it's going to be hard to see rotations. I think Hayley Ladd or Jade Moore needs to start as well.
Mm-hmm.
I do. We did miss that, so that's another one that if we did do it for defence, that Hayley Ladd goes into centre back. But why would you do that when you've got Torres Dottir or Tunkara on the bench? For me, it's one of them. I can't see us changing the likes of Ella Toon, Leah, Paris. I could see, and Lucia. I could maybe see Paris being swapped with Leon. I can maybe see that. I wouldn't actually mind that. I think that would be a good switch, and then bring on Paris, fresh legs, quick pace on the wing. So I think there's going to be there might be a few changes, but it might be the ones that we're expecting in terms of Hannah and Honor. But I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Just want to say hello there to Niall, who's in the chat. I hope you are well. I know there's quite a few questions. I have starred them all, and we will answer them a little bit later on. I did do my predicted lineup for the Leicester game. Do you want to look at that?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so here it is. This is my predicted start 11. Mary Oates in goal, which is of course expected. I've gone on her back because even though that Honor did have a concussion, I think what they do tend to do, like most people who's got a concussion, they do tend to come back. But if they have a concussion the following game, then I think they have they've got to be out for the next game, rule wise. So I am expecting her to be back. Letitia is staying in the lineup for me alongside Millie Turner. I don't know about yous, but I think Millie Turner was a little bit shaky in my opinion in the last game. There was a time in the second half where she got depossessed a bit easier than she normally does. So if that's the case, could she move? I can't see her getting dropped, but Tunkar is an option, of course. Blundell, I think she'll come back. Katie Zellum in the lineup. I put Jade Moore. I just think in terms of Leicester, Leicester's a kind of game where you want to increase your goal difference. That's no disrespect to Leicester, of course, but Leicester are the games you need to look at and go, right, we need to bang as many goals as possible. And the differences between Hayley Ladd and Jade Moore is that Jade Moore is more of a creative defensive midfielder, and I think she would be more beneficial for the Leicester game, and then I'd say Hayley Ladd for Durham, just because Durham is a lot more intense, a lot more physical, which Hayley Ladd is. I've gone Galton remains where she is, alongside Garcia on the right. Ella Toon remains in the middle, but instead of Nikita Paris, I've put Leon up front. What do you think of that, Chloe, of the lineup? Anything to change?
Yeah, I like that lineup. I would probably change more for Ladd.
Yeah,
just because even though you could. It's hard to choose between Moore and Ladd because they're both physical. It'd be a great game for both of them. It would be a good game for Moore to start in terms of the physicality. But I think with Ladd being on, I think we've then got that pace of Moore to come on in the second half with the physicality and stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't change the top. I wouldn't change Leo, Tooney or Garcia. My only concern is Leon as well, because even though she's good up front, she's better on the wing. and that's where I'm worried about, because we've not got many forwards. We literally only have Russo and Thomas and
Rachel Williams.
and Rachel. But yeah, I think for me, I think if Leon can play up front, and because I know she does that for Canada, and I know she did that for West Ham, that would definitely be a good lineup. But I think more might change to Lad. And I've got a question for you both. What do you think Carrie Jones, our loanee, will play for Leicester during the game?
It's funny you said that, because I was about to say that. Right, I'm sick of playing Patakate here. I would exercise our right to make sure she doesn't play, just because we've got to win Champions League. I'm sorry, I'm going to be ruthless. And maybe because we're never going to because of the level that we're at, we'll never have a loanee within the WSL. But I'm going to exercise that option, just because I'm not saying she could cause us massive amounts of problems, but I think it's about gaining the absolute maximum out of every opportunity that you've got. And this idea that we all just play nice and hug each other and, do sort of ringa rosies and skip along. And, if it was a men's game, maybe you can answer this question. If it was a men's game, I feel that Aloni wouldn't be played against their home club.
They wouldn't. When it does come to the Premier League, they're not allowed to play. But when it comes to Europe, they can play. And it's down to the club's decision. Because Dallo played against, just talking about Man United men's perspective, Dallo actually played against Manchester United against AC Milan in the Europa League. And that was like a quarter semi-final game.
Yeah, and obviously I know we've got to build relationships with these people to develop our players, and it might annoy them, but I think we need to start, we need to think about May in October. We need to think about goal difference in game 4, game 3. And it is these little opportunities, these little things. I mean, just jumping on to what Chloe was saying, she jumped straight where I was thinking. I would have gone for Lad, only because, we're going to do Durham next time, but I would say I want everybody physical. I want to pivot a Moore and Lad in the same position, because they're both DMs. You can do that. And that's probably literally the most physical we could ever be in that area for Durham. For Leon, again, I'd put her up front as well. Thomas just didn't look. Maybe it's confidence, maybe it's a little bit because she's not. She's gonna have to fight to get included now, and she's very much on the periphery of the squad. But she just didn't look like she was at the races. But she got away with it because we won 4-0. And to be honest, she'll probably get away with it at Leicester, because it's going to be unlikely that we're going to be under the cosh. I mean, with Millie, you're probably right. I didn't really see it too much. I mean, we had a bit of an issue getting to the stadium because of a massive road traffic accident. Yeah. So pretty much like one of those Top Gear things where you got like a thing to do at a certain time. I pretty much parked my car squares against a van and sort of ran off into the stand, and we missed the first 3 minutes. So I was maybe a bit discombobulated to see that, but it wouldn't surprise me. At the end of the day, she's still.
It's in the second half where I'm referring to.
Oh, okay. I
can't remember who dispossessed her now. But it was around like the 70th, 80th minute or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when we start scoring, I get all excited, and I'm too focused on the attack. So I'm like, oh, who's going to score next? I just go all focused on attack. So I can miss some of the defensive points, which is why it's great, obviously, to hear Chloe's and your viewpoint, really. So I think it's pretty strong. I think that's pretty strong. Paris did a really good game, actually. It'd be a shame to have her on the bench. But I would possibly do what you're doing, and have Leon there instead, and maybe bring her on.
Mm-hmm. In my opinion, though, with Nikita Paris, I think she's actually, when she has played for Man United this season, she has put 110% effort in. I know we've had different opinions about Nikita Paris, but she actually has put in a good shift. But for me, in terms of Nikita Paris, she's better for me against low block teams than she is against well-fluid teams. Well, not well-fluid, like open teams. That was wrong worded of me, but I think she would actually put in a better shift against Durham and Everton, in my opinion, because I know she's a Liverpool fan, so put the Liverpool fan on against Everton. She'll want to win.
Yeah, definitely.
What else? Yeah, so that's the lineup I've had. But talking about Carrie Jones, what we've already touched on, Chloe, what would you like to mention about Carrie Jones?
I think for me, because we played Hanson, because Hanson played against us when she played for Aston Villa. In terms of, we can't do one rule for one rule for the another in that kind of aspect. So I can see Carrie at least being on the bench for Leicester. And I think for me, I think she deserves to play. She's in a lower ranked team in terms of Leicester, and I think if she plays against us, yeah, she'll know us inside out. We'll know her inside out. But it's going to give her that experience and that passion for the game, and the passion to come when she comes back to us for the Champions League. And I think for me, if Carrie does play, yeah, it's going to be hard to see. It's going to be hard to see that she's playing against us, but I'm actually going to be happy that she is playing and she's getting game time, because I think if she ended up staying at United, I don't think she would have done this season. So I'm just hoping that if she does play, she'll get the game time, she'll show us what she's missing, and then she'll come back next season like Ivana and play for us.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just jump back on that. I mean, maybe look at it a different way, right? What is the reason that in the Prem that you can't do it, and in the women's no one's bothered to write a rule? Is probably the answer, isn't it? Like you know, obviously I know in a lot of the news the size of the goals has become more popular recently, but that is another reason why is it not the same as the men's? And then take it out of the club's control. And then anybody asks, well, it's the same for the Premiership. Next question. And I'd rather, maybe I'm getting my ruthless streak a little bit, but it's just like, I want to develop Carrie Jones, but I want to win, and I want to win. I want to win the Champions League eventually, and I want to get into the Champions League this season. And and it is like just these little things, these little things that you add all up at the next season. I'm not saying that if she plays on Sunday, we're not going to do it's going to have that big of effect. It'd be great for her to have game time, it would. But I see the fact that we let Kirsty Hansen play more as a mistake rather than a way to go forward. But then Kirsty Hansen, based on some of the sort of soundings that we've all heard, she's out the door anyway, to be honest. It's just it's an administrative thing in a way that she's a loanee. Whereas it's just to make the numbers work until somebody can afford to buy a contract, basically. But with Carrie Jones, she's a loanee in the truest sense of the word to develop her. So I do understand that point. I'd probably make the other decision, but I understand Chloe's thought process behind it, and both points are equally valid. I think I just really want to be ruthless this year, and I don't want to give them anything, literally anything. It's like you read about stories like certain stadiums, the away end is deliberately in the worst part of the stadium that's uncovered just for that 1% because their fans might be a bit wet. Or like there's slightly less things in the away changing rooms than there are in the home changing room. Just little things to make people feel uncomfortable, to try and get that advantage. I want to bring that into the women's game. The idea that it's like, oh, didn't she do well, is a little bit, when we're in club mode, international, sure, when we're in club mode, I want to bring home the advantage. But yeah, as I say, if she plays on Sunday, it's probably not a big deal. But I suppose what I'm thinking about it is Chloe made me think about the point a bit more. I want the rule changed. Either that or change it in the Prem. It just shouldn't differ between men and women. It should just be a rule that's the same.
It's like Maisy did say, though, you can have loanees play against us in UEFA.
Yeah, but not in the Prem, not in the actual domestic league. And there's more games in the men's. You could argue they could let it go in the men's because there's more games available. But and as I say, both views are valid. We maybe disagree on that, but we'll see what happens on Sunday.
Just want to say hey there. I like coffee. I hope you're well. Just before we obviously go on to the questions, I wanted to discuss slightly about Carrie Jones because the way I like what Leicester's doing with her. If you want me to be honest, they're trying her out in so many different positions in the midfield, and she's actually played up front. I think it was like the first or the second game of the season I seen her up front, and I was thinking, why is she playing up front? She's not a striker. But you never know. At the end of the day, they could benefit in the long run playing there, and you see a lot of number 10s these days who move to a false 9 because that's where I think Carrie's best at.
Yeah.
Thank you as well, my queen, for the super chat for £4.49. It really means a lot. And hey there, Rich. Hope you're well. That £4.49 will go to breast cancer now, so thank you so much. We'll go into the questions. We've got quite a few. We'll start with Raviz. This season, who do you see as the real leaders in the squad?
Go on, Andy. You go first.
Well, I'm going to take apparently what the 4 is, or we're guessing what the 4 is it's going to mention. So one of them is Honor, apparently. I say apparently, she's brilliant, of course, but I'm glad that it's being recognised in an official capacity. And it sounds like one of the arguments that United might be trying to build to keep her next season is you're 22 years old, I think. Normally you wouldn't be a leader in a dressing room, but we're going to get you as part of our leadership team as a bit of a carrot. I'm not sure how far that's going to go, but here's hoping. So she's a leader. Obviously, you can see that in other evidence of that is she captained us at in the Villa Conti game. Obviously, Zalem, I'm not going to waste my breath. To be honest, whatever happens. That's there. It's never going to change.
Mary Earps is one for me as well.
Mary Earps is the other one. And I think the 4th one we agreed would be Mannion.
I'd even say probably Millie Turner up to a degree, just because she's one of the more senior members of the squad.
Yeah. For me, you've got Katie Zellum, you've got Honor, you've got Millie, Mannion when she comes back, Earps, and Lad's another one. Lad's another one for me. So yeah, I've kind of got 5, and Ollie's probably 4.
I just want to ask as well, quickly, Chloe, has Jade Moore been a captain before?
Yeah, she was captain of Reading and Notts County.
So there's another one. We've got leaders all over the pitch, really. So
well, Rachel's old enough. I'm sure she was captain at some point. Was she captain in a team? Has she ever been captain?
Birmingham under Mark Skin.
There you go. Yeah, I knew it. She's the one was around when dinosaurs ruled the earth, so I knew that she would have had it at some point. But no, it's good. It's good. Side point on Rachel, because I got all grumpy and I got that face off Chloe before she came on, and she played really well. To be fair,
I think she did. It was just a shame that where the space that she was in, it was just a hard shot to take.
Yeah.
And again, we were in sort of in inverted commas game management mode, so it's hard to tell how much space she had and what instructions she was given, what her brief
She didn't
was.
look very far to me, to be honest, but it felt like in a way they passed it to her, as in I think it was a bit more of a confidence, just to say, "Come on, Rachel, get on the score sheet."
But, you sound like an old woman who's fallen asleep. Come on, dear, time to play.
But if she scored, she would have been a third away from a goal tally from last season, to be fair. But Andy, what did you want to touch on about Leicester before we go on to the next question?
I'm glad that they're developing Carrie, but I did want to highlight a few things that I've been hearing about Leicester.
Oh, are these good or bad things?
they're coming from me. So what do you think? So like, Leicester's a Prem team, right? They play in the King Power.
The way they played, I could beg to differ that they're a Prem team.
But the thing is, right? I know for a fact, this isn't a rumor. I know for a fact that they are refusing to open more than one stand for the game on Sunday. So 13 days out from kickoff, so obviously it's a few days previous to now, there was 8 tickets available in that stand. So how are we going to grow the game, guys, if you're going to only open one stand? Now, no cost and all that jazz, but cost is offset if people are actually there to steward. So obviously, if there's demand there, they should open up another section, you know, and apparently there was demand there. Secondly, I'm actually not going. I know it sounds very dramatic. I'm not going. Ooh, I'm actually not going to Leicester because I couldn't be asked dealing with the ticketing situation.
Are they playing at the King Power this time? Or are
Yeah, they
playing...
always play the King Power, and to be honest, that is what's masking a lot of these issues. Because look at us, we love our women's team. We give them the King Power, so they get away with that a little bit. But I know for a fact that they won't open, as I said, the bigger thing, that they used to fund their supporters club travel away, which they now have pulled for this season. So, but of course, they don't get any kind of back on that. So I think for me, they are almost asking to drop. They are pulling funding and they're asking to drop to go down to the Championship. So I'm very happy to help them out in that. But yeah, with those tickets, I think you needed a PhD in astrophysics to work out how to get those seats so sorted and multiple players. Look, most of my friends aren't going. That was another reason, if I'm honest, as well. But partly, I just couldn't be bothered, and they won't give us an away end. So I can't be bothered being next to, like, you know, what would Bertie Blue's equivalent be for Leicester? Fred the Fox, grumpy little sod at the back. He'll be like, "You're standing, you're blocking my view." I'm like, "Yeah, mate, I'm only blocking your view, watching your team lose." You know, so it was just, so we're actually, I'm sure Maisy will mention it at the end of the pod. We're actually going to do a watch along on the
Sunday. Leicester game, and
so
Andy will be joining me.
So I will be on commentary, as they say, for that game, and at least I'll be in a better position than being a King Power. No, I mean, look, I'm just a ranty, noisy person on a podcast. No one gives a crap what I say, but I just want to put it out there. We know what you're doing, Leicester. We know you don't give a damn. Either change your attitude, or I'll see you in the Championship. So I'm hoping, because you say there's some good players there. Jess Sigsworth is an ex-player. I want her to be treated right. But they need to stop playing around and opening one stand, because it saves a bit of money. You know, one of the things that we remember from last season was when we were there, and I think Chloe was there with me at Leicester away last season. It was earlier in the season. The Prem game was the day before, and all the rubbish was still there. All the rubbish was piled up and bagged, so they couldn't be asked cleaning the King Power before we arrived. So yeah, I'm cheering for them to go down this season. And I think you've got a Leicester fan that appears in the chat occasionally. I haven't looked at the comment section yet. I don't know if you can hear it tonight.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he's here tonight. But very good points what Andy has made as well, because there's been a few clubs. West Ham was another one who didn't give us an away stand, so it definitely does need to change. Next question, again from Rabbit. How do United avoid silly draws and keep climbing the table? We haven't really had a draw yet in the league, so it's quite hard to say on where we need to improve. But in terms of the league cup, what we played, the Conti Cup, we had a draw, and that obviously lost on penalties. But we didn't have a full strength squad out. But that shouldn't really be an excuse, to be fair. But what would you say to that question, Chloe?
I think for me, we've just, going back to last season, we've just got to keep playing and playing and playing till the final whistle, and we've got to create chances and score more. And I think when we started to have the draws, we started to lose Mannion. We didn't have Millie Turner in
we
the
had
back.
a lot of injuries.
And that's where my worry is, because if we got injuries, like going back to the start of the podcast, if we had injuries to our fullbacks, Honor and Hannah, we've got no one to cover other than Leah, who would then have to come as a fullback, and then someone would have to cover Leah, and then Maya going to a fullback where her actual position is, and then replacing Maya with Torres Dottir onto Karu and building that partnership up again. So I think for me, we've got to make sure our players are fit enough to play and not get serious injuries or little niggles or little tears because the players are so exhausted because they've played week in, week out, not having a break. So like we did at Aston Villa, yeah, we rotated it, and I was glad we did. But I don't think we needed to rotate it that much. I think we could have started with a few of the first team players and then bring on the likes of the others for me. But I think the silly draws, I think we just can't lose possession in the final third and in the final extra couple of minutes, because that's
and
where
sorry to interrupt, Chloe. I think we've changed from the first time of last season. Yeah. Like when you look at Spurs and you look at Everton in particular, it looked like we played for a 1-0 win. Whereas this season we don't play like we're playing for a 1-0 win. We're playing like we want to kill the game off in the first half.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where I can see our improvement from last season. We're wanting to score more goals, and we've got the players to as well. So for me, because obviously if we thought about last season, Martha Thomas had injury after injury, and she weren't up to the best until the end of the season, or coming up to the end of the season. So for me, if we can keep our players fit enough and we can keep our players in the best shape that they can be, then for me, we're not going to get silly draws and we're not going to lose that chance of being in the top 3.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. I think one of the things also as well that I think maybe might be leading into, we got a much stronger squad this season, but we've also got a manager who's aware that if he doesn't get Champions League, there's at least a question if he's going to still be here next season. This is the final year of his full contract. He's only got an option year next season. So I think there's not in football, and maybe with guys generally, they play better a little bit when they've got a gun to their head. And I think maybe that's why Skinner is not making silly mistakes. I think, it's about seeing the fact that May's success, the end of the league success, is built on what you do in September, October, November, December. It's built on earlier in the season. And I think back to what I'm now going to call Wingate, Tottenham away, where you mentioned about it was windy as a contributing factor about why it was a draw. Like, I don't think you're going to do any stupid stuff like that this season.
No, definitely not. Good evening, Martin. Hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. Henry, are you shocked with how badly City are doing? Not particularly, no. I did predict them to be quite bad because they've lost their key players. So I didn't really imagine them to be in the best of form. I didn't expect them to lose against Villa, but I did expect them to battle Leicester as well. So, question to my dad: how many teams will beat Man United? I think for me, the only one I'm most worried about is probably Chelsea. If you agree, Ander.
Yeah. I was going to say 2, Chelsea and Arsenal.
We've already beat Arsenal last season, so I'm not as unconfident.
No, I agree. I'm just talking about home and away. Like, are we going to get the double on these teams? I think obviously our best chance of beating Chelsea, and luckily is first we play them at home. Tickets are still available and they are going to open up the standing end. It's going to be as closest to a sellout we've ever had. So we've got our best chance. Irrespective of what I have about it, irrespective of my views on Emma Hayes, I was very sad to hear about her operation and the issues that she's had. And I do wish her back soon. But I think as a factual statement, she might not be back in time for when she plays us. It's a possibility she might not be. So it's probably never best chance to actually beat Chelsea. And I think once we beat them once, then the floodgates might open and we'll have that psychological. I would say Arsenal and Chelsea. but only once, as in only once. So I think we'll win one of them. It'll be home and away leg that we might struggle.
Yeah. What about you, Chloe? Same with you, or?
For me, I think just Chelsea. I think we can beat Arsenal. I think we've got the team to beat them. I think we've got the play, we've got the passion, we've got the stamina to beat them as well. And I think because they're playing Champions League as well as Chelsea. You've got Chelsea playing Champions League, and you've got Arsenal playing Champions League, and they're going to be having like 3 or 4 games back to back. In terms of like Arsenal will be playing instead of that, because obviously they're not in the. They'll be like us when we do our Conti Cup next week, so it's going to be like that for a few weeks. So the build up to our games against both Chelsea and Arsenal, they'll play Champions League, so that might be our way of
because the Champions League starts this week, doesn't it? So.
Yeah. And Arsenal losing Leah Williamson. I forgot about that as well. They haven't got Leah, have they?
No.
So I think for me, I think Chelsea. I hope we can beat Chelsea. I do, but they're the team that I think that might beat us. But I think if we could get a draw off them and mostly get a win off them, then like Andy said, we can. That will be. That's the break of the curse. We've beat the top 4. We've beat the top 3 in terms of Arsenal, Chelsea and City. And yeah, we've not beat Arsenal in the league. We have beat them in the Conti Cup. We drew against them in the league. But we've come close to it. We have come close. But again, it was that last year where we didn't have... We were winning up to the 80 odd minute, and then they scored because of possession at the back. So I think for me, if we can, because of the defending and stuff, because it was where we lost Man U on that day against Arsenal. That's where for me we've got to show that we're passionate about it, and I think we can beat Arsenal both home and away, and I think we can beat Chelsea, but Chelsea I think will be a struggle.
Mm-hmm. We'll finish off with this final question if both one of you want to answer it, because you'll have a better idea than me.
I'll hand over to.
Well, I'm going to Durham. I'm looking forward to that. It's funny. I haven't cleared that I can say this on camera, but I'm just going to do it anyway because Chloe can't get me at the minute. But there's a weird thing about men's fans, right? And when I mention a little word, it's a place in north of England. It's called Leeds. And as soon as I mention that word, there's something that happens with United fans that is quite interesting. And I remember when I was driving to the England game, we did at Ellen Road, and there was a weird form of Tourette's that happened when I got Chloe near Ellen Road. She started saying "our shit stadium" and a few other things I can't say on a podcast. But then it kind of subsided as we drove away. So it was like if it was like like a perimeter thing, right?
I'd do the same.
Yeah, and it is a shit stadium. But and also I've heard like glossy-eyed away men that have gone, I love Leeds away. We went there last time. We had a brick thrown at the bus, like with a big smile on the face. And that's how I feel about Durham. So they hate us, Reese. Not just the players, the manager, the crappy £2.50 DJ they put on that makes the one at City look good, makes the one at City look like David Guetta, to be honest. And the stewards can't hide how much they dislike us. It's just one of those. It doesn't make any sense if you look on a map where Durham is compared to where we are. Obviously they're in the lower league, as you pointed out, but it's like. They put Man U in a headlock last season. They're off their heads. They hate us. We hate them. There's a reason why for the we hate Liverpool and Man City men's chant that we've co-opted. Occasionally we also shout we all hate Durham instead of we all hate Leeds scum. And to find out more, I suppose you have to see it next week for the pod.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll wrap it up here. Thank you, Chloe. Thank you, Andy, for both coming on. It's been a great show. Chloe, would you like to shout out your socials and your score prediction as well?
Yeah, I shall do. My social is in, as you can see on the screen, it's Chloe Riley 14 on Twitter. And I think my score prediction against Leicester will be 4-0.
Nice 4-0 win there away. Andy, what are you going for?
Yeah, I only pulled a face there because that's what I would have gone for, to be honest.
Go for it.
I don't know if Skinner's got Skinner's got it in him to channel his inner Serena Vageman and just keep our foots on their necks to the 90th minute. But just to try and say, let's hope we do for once. Let's go 5-0 to us. I think, there you go. Just beat Vincent there, so just about 5-0 to us. And obviously social is at the moment, which is at AJ_87.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna go one more than you. I'm gonna go 6-0. I'm going 6-0. I'm confident.
On the watch along.
If we don't have minimum 3-0 against these frauds, I will be crying. I will be crying on the stream because I want at least 3 goals against these.
Yeah, I would have, for the kickoff being at 3:00. I would have just got home from work and I've just put it on. So if I have not got 3+ goals for that match for United, I won't be happy.
Bravy's gone 8-0.
Actually, as I've been learning more and more, an unhappy Chloe is actually quite scary. You can, so listen to that, Mark. We need that to work out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you both for coming on. I'll be next live myself. It is going to be on Thursday. I'll be doing my match day 13 predictions with Reese, not John, as John's away. And I'm also live again on Thursday for the World Cup predictions with Luca. So go and check them both out. Smash that like and subscribe button. I did put a link on for my Premier League Team of the Week. So if you are wanting to sign up for the membership, you can check out that Team of the Week what I had for last week's football. So go and check that out. And we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah.